You're going to see it when you go to certain communities now. It was asked, like, let me just open up MD's a new community called Void. Congrats on launching Void, the first art mint in the Other Side Nexus. Already having a couple of badges. So you can see here, yeah, there's a section for Mintables, and this was asked too. When you go into the individual ranks of a community, these are badges, but what are these? What is this number over here? And that is Mintables. So Mintables kind of contribute toward your community rank, and starts to have collector ranks within communities as well. So along with badges, for, let's say I go to other space. I'm going to use this as an example for a lot of things because this is one of the communities that I kicked off, and we teased like some mintables before. So we had this Cut the Cruft mintable. Some of you are asking when animated video, when animated badges. Those are all things we're scoping right now. And as you can see, like, we've tested some of this stuff previously. It's coming soon, but we want to make sure everything's working out really well. First of all, if you haven't created your own community page, and we'll also interchangeably call these like a creator page, because as you join, you may join just as a collector, right? Someone who's joining communities, who's collecting badges, maybe they onboard through a Mintable. And those are all things that we're actually working through to make the onboarding experience even easier. So if someone finds your Mintable as a creator, pretty soon they'll just create a username, not have to worry about minting an avatar and profile, and then be able to mint. So we think that's going to really enhance the user experience for collectors, especially those that are discovering through your Mintable, and just remove as much friction as we can when it comes to minting one of your collectibles. When you create a creator or a community page, you'll see under the profile button right up here, there is communities, and you can create a community. You can actually create multiple communities. As you can see, I'm an owner of Nana. Nova added me as an admin. I'm an owner of Other Space, and on OpenPage, I'm an admin. There's multiple creator pages or community pages that I'm able to manage here. I'm going to be demonstrating with Other Space. Right up here, you can create a badge, a mintable post, or a quick badge raffle. In this particular case, we're going to go over creating a mintable. This is what I really wanted to showcase to you guys is, when you go to your creator page, you need to have this in order to do any of this, because that's where you're going to find the create button. There's also another important thing that you have to do when preparing to set up any mintable. And this will help in your Mintable flow if you have this set up ahead of time. And that is to set up a community vault. Next to the create button, the first thing you may want to do is set up a community vault. You can hit the cog, which goes into the community settings, and you'll notice over here, vault settings. What you can do here is you can paste an Ethereum address, and here's just a few bullet points about community vaults. Let me zoom in here. When you actually create a new collection for Mintables, you're creating a new contract, and the vault address becomes the owner of all the collections that are created for this community page. Make sure, I would say we highly recommend that your vault address is cold storage. This is at least on the ledger. If you generate any revenue, or you have the ability to change what shows up under the collection name on OpenSea, pause transfers, all that stuff, the vault address is the owner of the collections created for this community. So we don't advise you using a hot wallet. And that's one of the reasons why we set it across on this page separately, so that you take some time to really think about like what your community vault is. Ensure that this is a secure wallet address that you can control and access. We also support multi-sig support, so you can use a multi-signature wallet for even enhanced security, and payouts. Funds from the Mintable purchases are sent directly to this vault address. Because we don't want you connecting like your let's say your ledger or cold storage into OP. That's why we just allow you to just paste the address here. If you paste the wrong address, it gets deployed, your contract gets deployed, your mintables could even sell, and all the funds are going to that wrong address. So make sure it's an Ethereum address and it's on cold storage so that you are just making sure you're doing your best to be secure, not only for your funds, but for your community and your collectors. We're about to go over something called collections, but that actually can be done in the Mintable flow. So I'm going to exit out from here. All right, so let's set up a Mintable. So we can go to Mintable here. The first thing we want to do is choose a Mintable type. Now you're going to see here, we have a few different selections. One would be art, which is creating any original artwork or collectible for your community. PFP avatar. This could be just like an image of a PFP, but this actually brings up like something that's, I know many of you have actually asked, because some of you wanted to create your own avatar, for instance, that works in Otherside, that has MML. And maybe it's part of a you don't have an existing collection, or the existing collection you have has a contract that you're not able to edit for MML URLs. So some people could elect to create their avatar and make it available, especially if they want to start it off as like one. Is create like a PFP avatar, upload that, and then we can add the MML URL metadata to this PFP avatar so you can make this collectible by your community. And if that collection is approved in Otherside, then it'll show up. So this Mintables actually gives you some flexibility on being able to tokenize your 3D objects or avatars. And then because it's in your own collection, you'll be able to submit that so that, for instance, in Otherside, you'll be able to get that approved. And if it reads the MML URL metadata that's attached to this PFP avatar, then you should be good. What's also a good thing to note about Mintables is I might start a collection, let's say with one trading card or one poster, and I can actually later down the road, a week later, a day later, minutes later, I can add other Mintables to that same collection. So I don't need to deploy a new collection every single time. I can just create some of these things and add as I go. So I've been thinking about like OSFM Mintables or OSFM editions, and making like collectible art and posters and banners that I can put them all into that collection. But then I may want OSFM wearables, or OSFM fits. So that might be a separate collection that I have for my community that I want separately. You can always add more to it. And I think it really helps change the meta of how you think about, offering collectibles with your community. With that being said, we got art, PFP avatar, trading card, poster, banner, pass, and even an OP theme. So we've seen a few of those go out. I see Ninja in the crowd had a Vibes GR one and put 50 up and immediately sold out, which was really cool to see. But an OP theme, and I don't know if Goldie's in here. I know Link from Cool Cats put out a OP theme, but those are really fun because it essentially allows you to mint it, and then people will be able to collect. Like for instance, if I'm on, let's say, my OP avatar on my Bored Ape, I can go to theme, and then I have all these different themes that I can equip. And you'll notice things like the grind. You'll notice the hex color, the background, this top bar, Creeps Nexus Invasion. So you can see there's custom artwork, custom hex colors for the marquee. custom artwork on the top bar, and custom background. So these themes are really fun. Actually, the first theme that we had was Project Dragon World Record theme in collaboration with Otherside. So if you have the Project Dragon World Record badge, it actually unlocks the Mintable theme, and then you'll be able to outfit your profile with this really amazing moment in time, where we had 2,197 players online at once in a shooter. So those are themes, and you can create your own now for your own community. Where's here it is, Journey to A-Fest. This is back with Cinema, where he had, he was one of the early pioneers of Mintables too on the platform as a creator. And yeah, this poster actually had the theme metadata, but we actually broke out. We broke it out right here for OP theme, and it'll allow you to just upload the necessary components for an OP theme and make it available. These are some of the different Mintable types. A lot of them are very similar, but for certain things, we'll kind of offer like some guidance on, if you're doing a banner, maybe we'll just kind of templify it for you to say like, hey, make it 1500 by 500 for a Twitter banner and it'll work on OP. But I'm just going to use art for now. It's kind of open. So just creating original artwork. And I want to show you how easy the flow is for creating a Mintable. This is where I can put a title, Mintable artwork, and then a description. I can elect to choose a rarity or not. And I'm essentially associating the rarity of this. Now, it's totally up to me. I can, as a collector, sure, I want to have like all legendary items. But when you think about putting collectibles out for your community as a creator, you may want to consider like some of the things you could launch in the future. And how are you going to weigh that when it comes to rarity? There's a lot of X factors when it comes to that, but rarity could be one of those important things that you add to help tell a story about your collectibles. So if I do artwork and I think of it as like, hey, I'm going to release one right now, but I do plan up until holiday to drop 3 of them, I may want to consider how rarity could come into play with that. And not only do you get to choose it, because this adds it as a metadata trait, but if you put none, it won't. And you can leave rarity up to the supply of it if you wanted to. That's totally on you. You get to assign that. I think for like trading cards, if I'm doing like maybe a set of 5 cards, I might want to indicate which one is legendary. But yeah, if you have one legendary, yeah, just consider, how these other ones may come into play. So it's totally up to you. You have the creative freedom for that. Now, some of the default traits to your Mintables will be the name, the creator, which is the creator page name, and then the category. So those are some default traits that are locked, but you can add your own traits as well. If I wanted to do a fun trait around media type, and I can say this is acrylic, I can do that. And that would add it to my Mintable artwork. And then just consider every single trait that you add in your collection on OpenSea, for instance, it's going to add it to that filter bar on the left-hand side when someone clicks filters. So, consider that. You may want to keep it clean, but also you may not want to keep it bare. Especially if you begin to add multiple additions to your collection, you can kind of go through and have some fun ways to have people view your collection. That is what custom traits are. And so you can add a bunch more if you'd like. I'll hit next. This is where you upload your artwork. For this art image, any aspect ratio is supported. Right now, we have a max file size of 10 megabytes for JPEG and PNG. Many of you have been asking for video and things like that, and those are some things that we may be testing just around the corner. But for right now, I want to test this out. And also, as you have feedback, if there's like limitations that you don't like or you need, let us know. because this is kind of like our starting block, like where we're going to start with, and then we'll adjust from there. So JPEG and PNG to start with, you're going to want to have higher resolution. So make sure the minimum resolution is at least 1024 pixels, height and width. And then the aspect ratio is open to any for these. That's where you can just add some artwork. I'll just put, this Mint Party badge in here for now. And then here is where you're going to set the pricing. And you'll notice across the left-hand side, you can kind of see where we are in the Mintable flow. We chose a type, which is art. We filled out some information. We just configured it with the item details. Now we're in pricing. So right now you can launch a Mintable on Base or ApeChain. I'll select ApeChain. And then this is where you are creating your collection. You won't be able to create a collection if you don't have a vault address set up already in your community settings. So that's just very important to note here. You'll have to exit out, save as a draft, and then come back to it after you set up your vault address. But that's one of the reasons why I set up my vault address first, so that I could create a new collection here. So some things that are good to know is your vault address becomes the owner of the collection. Smart contract automatically deploys to your selected blockchain network. And then the collection appears in your community with a transparent contract address. So this action can't be done once the collection is created and the contract is deployed. It will permanently be recorded on the blockchain. You can create a collection name. I can call it OSFM Editions Chain. We're going to choose ApeChain. I wouldn't choose Ethereum yet because we can't deploy to Ethereum. So we'll probably just take this out for now. One of the reasons for that is we technically could. I mean, we did the OP passes with them, but we are covering the gas for deploying these contracts. So that is something that, we'll deploy it for you. Ethereum can get pretty costly. You create a collection symbol. So, I could do OSFM as my symbol for the collection. This kind of shows up in this case on ApeScan and things like that. And then I can put a collection description. Other space FM Mintables from OP. So I can do something like that. And then here I can put a collection image, collection banner, and be able to add the collection here. And that's how I know, hey, I'm setting up this Mintable. Which collection out of all the collections that I created, where is it going to? I can choose that collection. And now I can decide if I want to have anyone be able to mint this for this price, which I can leave at 0 for a free mint. And then, or I can do a discount or completely gate it for only specific people that either are part of this Allowlist, own this badge, and coming soon, we'll be able to just token gate it through if you are currently holding one of these NFTs or this pass, then you'll be able to purchase it or be able to mint it at this price. We've seen some creators play around with discount, which is pretty cool because you can choose badge. And then in the next screen, you'll be able to choose which badge. And then you have a standard price and a discounted price. We don't have, I see Cool Chick with a code to mint. We don't have a code to mint. Brown Bear, you asked if Allowlist is a CSV or a text file. Exactly that. So let me actually show you when I go to gate Allowlist. I think Allowlist is probably the most flexible for many creators because you can actually do a snapshot. So for instance, I could say for OSFM badge holders, I can do a snapshot and export a CSV of the last 10 badges right from my OP account even. So, let me just switch gears real quick. If I go to my community and I want to export the holders there, I can actually export holders from specific badges. And in that case, I would get all 109 people that own this badge into a CSV list that I can upload. So that's fine. But we also have badge gating. But if I wanted to be like, yeah, I want that, but I also want everyone who owns this collection or has this particular trait in my collection, you can use a snapshot tool, like whether it be on ApeScan or some tools like Snapeshot for ApeChain. You can do a snapshot tool, choose Allowlist, and then be able to just upload in CSV format all the wallets. And I'll show you something in a second here. So I can leave 0 for free mint. I could charge, if I elected to. This is like a particular gate. If I wanted a discount, I could say standard price is 5. Discounted price is free for people who have this or whatever, or just leave it open and just like, hey, 5 for everyone. But because I want to show you the allow list as well, I'll do discount. So we'll do 5, or let's do 10, and then half off right here. And then I'll choose allow list. Oh, it doesn't look like I have to create a new collection, but let me see if I can skip forward here. Here we go. So this is where you do the allow list eligibility. I could search members if I want. If I want an example of a CSV that's formatted, I can actually download one right here. I can also add individual wallets. And this is something that's good to know if you wanted to add people as you go too. Maybe I launched this Mintable. Now I need to add this one extra wallet to that allow list. I can just paste it right in here. The other thing I can do is upload a CSV. And so you upload a CSV, make sure what it's going to read is a column with the name wallet. And any ETH addresses or Ethereum addresses that are under the wallet column, it's going to import into here. What's also kind of neat about this particular system is it doesn't necessarily need to be their minting wallet. As long as their wallet that's eligible is linked to your account. Like for instance, I can get a bunch of Glyph wallets, put those on the allow list, but maybe my minting wallet and my OP primary wallet address, that's a different wallet. That's fine, but because your Glyph is connected and it's on this allow list, it all kind of links together and you'll be eligible to mint. That's one really cool thing about, using OP as well is you could have, like, if someone allow listed my Bored Ape, I'm not trying to mint with that Bored Ape. I can actually just see that I'm eligible because I own a Bored Ape in my cold storage and still mint and be eligible and use OP without having to connect my cold storage due to like delegation and stuff. This is how I would be able to add certain people to the allow list. Then we go into when do I want this mint to start. I can choose here, what time I want it to start. This is localized, so it will be your time. And then when do I want this to end? How should I set my mint period? And should I set a max supply? And I think these are really good things to think about for your Mintables, because you could actually, you have a few different levers to play with in terms of making it collectible and accessible. So, being able to have what's called like a timed open edition, I think is a really great method, because you can say, hey, I want to start on this, but I only want it to last 24 hours. And so now you're leaving the supply up to the community for anyone that mints that within 24 hours, and then boom, that's your set supply. The community really got to decide that. Another thing you can do is leave it with no end and put a maximum supply. But what we would really encourage is you to think about it a little more holistically for when people come to your community, or if they go to op.xyz, because we've seen communities get discovered here too, is to have something available. So maybe have a Mintable that could be evergreen, something that's always on, something that's always available for you, whether you decide to make it free or not. You can have like an evergreen mintable, and then you can kind of mix it up with some limited edition mintables for your community to collect. But you may want to consider having that diversity at some point. But we really encourage creators to have something available for minting when people are discovering your community or you as a creator. The next screen would just be publishing it. So this would, even if I was on the allow list, I don't think we check it during this preview. This would just kind of just make sure the summary is looking good, the total supply, the mint start date, the price, the discount, and even the traits that show up, such as the media type and category here. And then you hit publish, and this would go up in the Mintable section. I'm gonna close out of it and save as draft. But this Mintable section is where you can see all the Mintables that are live. So as I mentioned, Vibes GR, you did a theme, which was really cool. 50 out of 50 minted those. We got Nova's poster with artwork from TJ that he commissioned, 45 out of 100 of those. I love this new face tattoos community that was kicked off by Dev, who's also one of the founders of Other Side Photography Club, Photo Club. Yeah, just wanted to outfit some of these things with, mintable artwork. And what's so cool about this is people are equipping it on their OP avatars. As I go to my OP avatar, because it's a mintable, I can actually go to the face and choose right here, select a token from my wallet. And these are index tokens on OP. So I could actually go to any of these mintables. If here's my I Love Nexus, I can go there. And now I got it equipped on my OP avatar. And we're going to make even some more adjustments to these OP avatars so they look really good. Put some emission behind it so that the face isn't as dark. Lots of adjustments coming there. I guess the last thing I'll say is, as it relates to wearables, is that's opening soon. And we want you to already start thinking about like what wearables would you like to create as mintables. So already some of you are able to launch a mintable and equip it as a faceplate. That's probably the lowest friction you have right now for getting wearables to show up in metaverses that are compatible, which Other Side is so beautiful. It makes these avatars look amazing due to the environment and the lighting. You can adjust the face. I can go in here, select one of these tokens. This is a great way for you to bring your NFTs into it. So yeah, I actually love the TJ, the creator. I love how this looks. And, I've decided to keep it. But as it relates to wearables, you all are going to be able to go to communities, create Mintable, and we're going to be unlocking these 3D objects soon. So you'll see OP wearable, 3D object. I just did an example, shirts that I actually designed in real life 2 years ago. And I was like, it'd be cool if I can just bring this graphic into Other Side. And on the front, I have this custom Other Space hit. And we're able to quickly get a 3D object going. We want to build all the self-serve tooling so that you can place that. And then you can see here, got the icy Other Space logo on the front. And so what I would eventually be able to do is once I have this file ready, I can actually just go into create Mintable and then create OP wearable and upload that and tell it what slot should this be equipped to. And in this case, it would be the upper. Each one, and you'll notice like here's one that has like a bust in the front. So we have one that's like more feminine and then one that is more on the masculine side. So that's where you'll see Nyx and Paige, the two different types of avatars. And so you'll be able to adjust these. It's going to be one token, but it'll have the interoperability to switch and be composable across both looks. So no matter if you have like the Page or Nick's version of it. This one wearable, we wanted to have two different types of styles, and we want you to have that flexibility too. I think that's one thing that's pretty cool about this is, I can have one that's, more masculine on here, and then I can have the feminine version right here that would be outfitted on Page. And so some of these blanks, we'll just try do our best to make it real easy for you to take your graphic, similar to the graphic that I made in Photoshop here. And I was able to take this graphic and apply it to the wearable. And that's what we're seeing here. And so, something like this, I'll be able to have this available for my community. It's important that I own the IP of anything that I'm putting out there as a Mintable. And that's one thing that's great about some of these NFTs, like the Coda collection, is that I own the IP of it. I don't own the GG necklace. So that's why I elected to use this artwork, which just has the original Coda. And then a little custom other space with some icy across the top. So I can get really creative like that. Something as simple as that. Like, I'm just curious, out of this particular audience, I know there's many of you that have been really writing with other Space FM for a while, but would you want something like this to just have? And I'm curious if I should just say fuck it and make this available for all of you. So it's good to see. All right, Smoke. All right, cool chick. Jelena. Great to hear. But yo, like, that's what's so cool about these blanks. You can come up with your own designs. Now, I could have done a different base color and all that. Basically, it's this mesh that you have access to be your canvas. And so if you have your own ideas, you want to see other games across the top, or Ape in Espanol, looking at you, Honeybee, you're a great graphic designer. You'll be able to do that. I think for now, we start off with like getting a mock-up, and maybe we'll give you this kind of blank where you can place it over the front and then give us the assets along with it so that we can help shape some of these blanks for you. So yeah, let me just show off a couple of these blanks and just so people can get some ideas going. We got kind of like a dad hat style, but we also have a snapback style that you'll be able to outfit. Just showing in black and white bases for now, but a little oversized shirt. So we'll have a shirt, kind of like a long sleeve crew neck, as well as a hoodie. And so we just threw our OP logos here, but just because it looks better than just pure white for now. But imagine your own stuff on here. If you have ideas and you want to already, even at like, we'll get some guidelines out, but even just being able to Photoshop and mock it up from this studio and being like, this is what I want here, this is how I would do it, you can already get some of those ideas going. And same with bottoms. We got some cargo pants. They're kind of baggy. And then we have some shorts that you can use. And so the possibilities will really be endless. Same with shoes, high tops and low tops to just kind of kick things off with. But you can imagine, this might be more streetwear oriented, but imagine what that's going to look like for combat. Imagine what that's going to look like if there was a cyberpunk theme or a skate theme or elite high fashion. There's a lot of different blanks that we can actually begin to create. And we want to offer this first set of blanks to the creators to already just get going, get their people rocking multiple things. And that's what's awesome about this is I might be rocking, something like, might have some gator boots on from Token Gators, but also I'm rocking an Other Space FM t-shirt, and then Other Games hat with my homie's artwork on the faceplate. There's lots of different things, and that's what's kind of cool is like when it comes to your digital identity, you're part of these multiple communities. So why not be able to rock them on a single avatar, just like we do in real life?